Bagus juga kameranya.
Mas Kenny, boleh cek sound Mas Kenny?
Ya apa? Ntar ada ini juga kok.
Konnichiwa, Pak.
Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. Thank you for joining us today for today's opening talk show of the Bootcamp for Indonesian and Japanese Technopreneurs. This bootcamp is organized by the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Tokyo in collaboration with Bank Indonesia Tokyo Representative Office and supported by Impacto, a well-known Indonesian venture builder studio based in Jakarta, as well as Next Creations, a remote innovation workshop specialist based in Fukuoka. My name is Pandu Manggala, Second Secretary for Economic Affairs at the Indonesian Embassy, and I will be your MC for today. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. This opening talk show will be conducted in English, but we have also prepared a simultaneous Japanese interpretation. You may choose your preferred language in the language interpretation control panel on your bottom screen of Zoom. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the Q&A column in your Zoom control panel. This talk show is also streamed online via YouTube through YouTube account KBRI Tokyo. And for those who would like to raise questions on YouTube, you may type it in the comment section. The moderator will bring them up, and we will have time for questions later on after the discussion sessions. Dear participants, we are very honored to have with us here His Excellency Heri Ahmadi, Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to Japan, together with some distinguished speakers. Without further ado, may I now invite His Excellency Heri Ahmadi for his welcoming remarks.
In Tokyo and the Indonesian Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy. This gathering not only reflects our common objective, but more importantly, our keen interest to harness the potentials of today's rapid growing technologies through the spirit of collaboration. Today, our 4 billion people across the globe are connected to the internet. This has become one of the most important tools to venture into interconnected world. According to the statistic, people on average spend 5 to 6 hours to their smartphone or on daily basis, not including for work-related use. In Indonesia alone, mobile phone internet users reach 185 million people, of which 78% use them for online shopping. Not to mention, our digital economy is definitely rising and beginning to define how we work, consume goods and services as well as interact to one another. Despite the pandemic, Indonesia's digital economy expanded by 11% to $4.4 billion last year, contributing to 4% of the GDP, and it's projected to grow even further. In the face of vast growth opportunity, how do we leverage to promote collaboration with Japan? This is core question that I hope you all will discuss later during the talk show. Distinguished participant, the Indonesian government has emphasized the importance of digital transformation agenda. We must ensure that digital technology also help transform our economies and empower the people. The Indonesian government and our enterprises are becoming aware that startups are engines of growth and driving force behind digital innovation. That is why, through the Omnibus Law on Jobs Creation, which was adopted early this year, Indonesia has eased rule on how startups conduct their business and receive funding by exempting them from the minimum investment requirement. In addition, to facilitate more transfer of knowledge and technology, the law also makes it easier for startups to source talent from outside Indonesia. This is important as currently there are more than 2,100 startup companies in Indonesia. We need to foster a program that facilitates connection and make the Indonesian digital market more accessible and attractive for all. I firmly believe that innovation and collaboration are the keys to long-term growth. Those that can adapt the fast-moving technology and understand the need for fast-paced innovation will likely take the benefit of this digital era. In this regard, I'm pleased that through this bootcamp, we will learn from one another to develop your respective business model to become more digitally driven and cater to the market needs, and most importantly, to explore our potential through collaboration in the digital economic sector. With a growing digital savvy consumers, accelerating e-commerce market, and vibrant tech companies. As a strategic partner, Indonesia and Japan must work closer to reap the full economic benefit of our growing digital economic sectors. I thank all of our distinguished speakers today, including the recorded message from the Minister for Tourism and Creative Economy and Deputy Governor of Bank Indonesia, for sharing your knowledge, insight, and experience. I'm confident that we will see more partnership between Indonesia and Japan in the future. Without further ado, I wish all of you the very best and a fruitful discussion. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Excellency Hari Ahmadi. Dear participants, Bank Indonesia as a central bank has a role in overseeing the development of fintech ecosystem amid the growing digital payment technologies in Indonesia. In this regard, we are honored to have a recorded speech by Dr. Sugeng, Deputy Governor of Bank Indonesia, that will elaborate more on Bank Indonesia's role in ensuring digital ecosystem in Indonesia.
His Excellency Minister Sandiaga, as you know, Minister for Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia. His Excellency Ambassador Hari Ahmadi, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Indonesia to Japan, accredited to the Federated State of Micronesia, distinguished panelists, moderator, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning and good afternoon to all of you. It is great pleasure for me to join this bootcamp for Indonesian and Japanese Technopreneurs 2021. We see that this event is indeed important to develop digital economy ecosystem, especially in the two countries, Indonesia and Japan. We at Bank Indonesia share the same view as the Indonesian Embassy in Tokyo. The development of the digital economy is a major need at this period of time. So today, in this particular webinar, I would like to highlight several key points about Bank Indonesia's role in ensuring digital ecosystem development in Indonesia. As we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic had altered the way we live toward contactless communication and physical distancing approach. In this challenging condition, of course, we still want economic activity to keep on going while adopting COVID-19 protocol. Therefore, in this pandemic situation, digitalization is essential. Furthermore, in the years to come, we see that digitalization will be a vital foundation of our economy. Again, this background, Bank Indonesia commits to bolster digital economic and financial ecosystem integration by strengthening payment system policy, cross-border finance, as well as building collaborative coordination with other relevant authorities. In the area of digital payment, a rapid development has been happening in Indonesia. Digital economic and financial activities are proliferating in line with greater use of digital platform and instrument. We can take a look in e-commerce. E-commerce transaction grew 74% in September 2021. Digital banking was growing sharply in 2021, that is 58%, compared to only 4% before pandemic. Meanwhile, the use of electronic money is still growing at the fast pace of 48%. To further increase the digital economic and financial activity, Bank Indonesia introduced Indonesia Payment System Blueprint 2025 that belonged in May 2019. The blueprint aimed at integrating national digital economic and finance through several initiatives, among others, establishing QR Indonesia standard, call it CRIS, accelerating digital open banking and interlink between bank and fintechs, developing Bank Indonesia Fast Payment for real-time real payment service, capturing and optimizing the granularity of payment systems data, as well as reforming payment system regulation. In this opportunity, I would like to elaborate more about some initiatives that are in line with our topic of discussion today. The first initiative is on QR Code Indonesia standard, or we call CRIS. We launched CRIS in August 2019. Thus, this is before the pandemic. The implementation of CRIS is part of initiative in integrating the retail payment system. CRIS is a game changer in Indonesia's digital ecosystem. It could increase not only financial inclusion, but also economic inclusion. CRIS had transformed micro, small, and medium enterprise and traditional market into digital, making them accustomed to accept non-cash payment, thereby expanding their customer base and increase share. Up till now, around 11.7 million MSME and traditional merchant has gone digital, approaching our target 12 million CRIS merchant at the end of 2021. The latest innovation from CRIS is CRIS cross-border linkage between Indonesia and Thailand. Through this collaboration, users from Indonesia are now able to use their mobile payment apps to scan Thai QR code to make payments to merchants all over Thailand and vice versa. Once international travel resumes, tourism will be the key sector that will greatly benefit from these services due to the large number of tourist flows between the two countries. We are planning to expand QR collaboration with Malaysia as well as other countries in Asia. And of course, there will be huge possibility to interlinkage the QR payment between Indonesia and Japan. The second initiative is on application programming interface, API standardization. In August this year, Bank Indonesia launched the National Open API Payment Standard, or we call SNAP. SNAP is a critical piece for accelerating open banking and expected to promote integration, interconnectivity, and interoperability between bank and fintech. Consistent with practices in several other countries, Open API payment standardization is also able to reduce industry fragmentation and simultaneously accelerate financial and economic digitalization. Currently, SNAP is promising protocol and instrument to facilitate inter-application connectivity in terms of payment transaction processing. Moving ahead, we will also eager to develop API standardization together with the industry and Indonesia's FSA in the area of digital lending, so it could also boost the economic growth. In the area of cross-border finance, we promoted the implementation of local currency settlement, LCS, framework with Malaysia and Thailand in 2018, in which local currency are used for settlement of bilateral trades and direct investment. Similar cooperation was also implemented with Japan in August 2020 and China in September 2021. The implementation of LCS brings some benefits, among others through providing more efficient transaction conversion costs, providing alternative export financing or direct investment opportunity in the local currency, providing alternative hedging instrument in local currency, and diversifying currency exposure in transaction settlement. Bank Indonesia continually coordinates with relevant government minister and agency to ensure that LCS framework is adopted widely by businesses in Indonesia and facilitated by banks approved as appointed cross-currency dealer. In this regard, LCS scheme has also been used in the QR code cross-border linkage, which I mentioned before. The use of direct quotation of local currency exchange rate under the LCS framework could improve the efficiency of the transaction, thus this lowering transaction costs. Ladies and gentlemen, to develop digital economy and finance, we have initiated cooperation with several central banks in Southeast Asia, including Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, and the Philippines, as well as other Asian countries, including Japan. One of this area which become the focus of this cooperation is the development of digital economy and finance through policy discussion, capacity building, technical cooperation, as well as joint innovation. With that, the opportunities for cooperation in the area of digital economy and finance are still wide open. Therefore, technopreneurs from the two countries should seize those opportunities. With this, I stop my speech here, and I wish you all to have a very good discussion today. Thank you.
Sorry. Dear participants, now we have come to the main agenda of this opening talk show, Leveraging Indonesia Digital and Creative Economy, Collaboration Potential between Indonesian and Japanese Technopreneurs. To trigger the discussion, Minister for Tourism and Creative Economy, His Excellency Sandiaga Uno, has provided a video message on the initiatives that the Indonesian government have put forward to support collaboration among young technopreneurs. Please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings from Jakarta, Indonesia to all of you. To the Honorable Indonesian Ambassador, His Excellency, Mr. Heri Ahmadi. Also, Deputy Governor of Bank Indonesia, Mr. Sugeng, distinguished speakers, Ms. Anna Sumarno from Google Japan, Daiki Sang from Real Tech Fund, Indonesia's Bright Young Technopreneurs, Jerome Paulin, and participants of the Bootcamp event and tech and creative sectors enthusiasts. It is an honor for me to attend Bootcamp for Indonesian and Japanese technopreneurs today. I really appreciate the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Tokyo, Japan, in collaborations with Bank Indonesia Representative Office in Tokyo, for supporting and contributing to the development of the digital and creative economy sector. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know that the pandemic has hit the creative industry in Indonesia, and it's proven by the decrease of GDP around 2.39% in 2020. But there are a lot of other things from this decline. There's also some pandemic winners. There is television, radio applications, and game developers, which increased significantly. Indonesian government is trying hard to implement programs that will increase the realizations of the projected 25.75% of Indonesia's internet economy growth. Through e-commerce, transportations and food, online travel, online media, financial services, edutech and health tech, Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, together with several ministries, have already launched national movement called Bangga Buatan Indonesia. In order to improve the onboarding of micro, small, medium enterprises, we also plan to implement the upcoming program called Stimulus Bangga Buatan Indonesia in order to provide vouchers to increase local creative economy product transactions, especially in national and local e-commerce. There are several programs that we also implement, such as Baparekraf for Startup or Backup, Nyatakan.id, and Baparekraf Digital Entrepreneurship or BDE, to facilitate startups incubations. The Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy is committed to support and facilitate the collaborations between Indonesia and Japanese technopreneurs through our programs. And on a final note, I would like to say thank you to the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Tokyo, Japan. Arigato gozaimasu for holding this event, and we hope our collaborations in developing the Indonesia's digital and creative economy together between Indonesia and Japan can be implemented in the near future. May God bless all of our effort. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wonderful Indonesia.
Now, without further ado, I would like to give the screen to Pak Italo, Managing Partner of Impacto, to moderate the talk show. We have already had several speakers that will share their perspective on how to accelerate collaboration between digital talents from Indonesia and Japan. Pak Italo, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Mas Pandu. So good morning, everybody. Good morning, the Excellency Ambassador of Indonesia, Pak Heri Ahmadi, and Pak Sugeng from Bank Indonesia, and all the distinguished panelists, Pak Neil, Jerome, Anna, and Daiki San. Yeah. So I'll be moderating this event. So I think Indonesia and Japan has actually very important relationship that related to startup ecosystem. I think if everybody knows, Tokopedia actually is one of our unicorn, get the first biggest funding. Actually, I always said this is like a legend when Tokopedia get the 100 million investment from SoftBank back in 2019. Because I would say that's the first time there's an Indonesian company get invested by overseas company in the order of $100 million. Yeah. So I think Indonesia and Japan, in terms of the startup world, have a very strong collaboration. Actually, there's a lot of VCs from like even SoftBank, Binext Venture, Digital Garage, Yahoo Japan. They have been investing a lot in Indonesia. So I think thank you for the KBRI Tokyo for having this bootcamp. I think we need to have more this kind of event because I believe the relationship between Indonesia and Japan in the context of tech startup is very important. We see that a lot of VC from Japan has been active investing in Indonesia since very early days, which is 2012 until now. So I think with this bootcamp, I hope we can trigger more, create more startup and collaboration between Japan and Indonesia. So I think, so we only have 30 minutes, very short time. So I think I would like to have an short introduction to all the panelists. Halo Pak Neil, apa kabar Pak?
Halo Mas Italo, I'm good, thank you. Sehat.
Your voice is a little bit
Thank you.
break out.
Okay.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello.
Better.
Can
you
okay.
have a
okay? Thank
yes.
you.
Can you have a quick introduction, Pak, before I start the question to you and the team?
All right. Okay. Thank you, Italo. First of all, and thank you for the Indonesian Embassy in Tokyo, and greeting to all speakers, all panelists. My name is Muhammad Nilal Himam. I'm the Deputy Chairman for Digital Economy and Creative Products of the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia. And right now, I'm in the position of managing the ecosystem for digital economy as well as the creative products. And in there, as we know, Indonesia is right now in the midst of the digital economy booms, where because of the pandemic, everything's shifted toward the digital economy, digital platform. So this is, I think, a really good time, great momentum for us, the Indonesian, as well as other parties to be engaged in the development of the Indonesian digital economy. Thank you, Pak Italo.
Okay.
That's for now.
Thank you, Pak Neil. So next, Jerome. Hello, Jerome. You have a great content. I'm sorry I don't follow you, but I'm a fan of you. So can you introduce yourself first?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Jerome. Currently, I'm a student at Waseda University. I'm a fourth-year student. Actually, I'm studying mathematics in Waseda, and as my hobby and as my side hustle, I'm making content at YouTube. Yeah.
I see. So the hobby is studying mathematics or making a content?
Both are my hobbies.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jerome.
Thank you.
So Daiki-san, oh, you are there. Okay, Daiki-san, you are from Real Tech, yeah? Can you do a short introduction about yourself?
Sure, thank you very much, Italo-san. Hi, everybody. My name is Daiki. I currently work as a venture capitalist in a fund called Real Tech Fund. Real Tech Fund, it's a VC arm that invests heavily into deep tech startups, which may not be superbly significant to today's topic, but beyond IT, beyond services, more of hardware manufacturing, biotech, space tech, and all these kind of aspects. We started off a new fund that specifically invests into startups in Southeast Asia since last year. Haven't announced it yet, but we did our first investment in Indonesia as well. And fingers crossed it's going to be released in about 2 weeks' time. So, but it's great to have, it's great to have this opportunity to share a little bit about my thoughts as well. So thanks everybody.
Thank you, Daiki-san. So I think deep tech is quite very rare in Indonesia, but I think in one of the session in this bootcamp, there'll be a co-founder of Nextlab. It's a deep tech startup from Bandung, Indonesia.
Oh.
So actually their client 100% is overseas, 60% of their client is in Japan.
Oh,
so they're building this photonic hardware. So for quantum computing. So clients like Waseda University, NTT Docomo actually been using. So you should meet the co-founders. Is one of them. Because it's really hard to find a deep tech investor in Asia. Super hard. Only in US usually. So it's good that having you in the market. Okay, thank you, Daiki. So hi Anna, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So Anna, it's a long time friends, but we met here. So Anna, can you introduce yourself?
Sure, thanks, Italo. It's a pleasure meeting you here. It's been a while since we last met. I'm Anna. I'm currently work for Google Japan. I head the retail and payments activation for Southeast Asia and Australia. So in my day-to-day basis, I basically work with like partners in Indonesia, like GoPay and ShopeePay, basically enabling digital payments in the market, because Indonesia is one of the cash market, like cash-centric market, and digital payment actually open up access to a lot of financial technology, financial digital content in Indonesia. So I really happy to hear from Gubernur Bank Indonesia mentioning about a lot of initiative around digital payments, around fintech, because that's actually going to light up all the startup ecosystem in Indonesia for monetization. On the side hustle, not like Jerome, I don't create I mentor a lot of startups. I'm part of like a Kumpul. If you know Kumpul, I'm part of a Kumpul, and I'm also mentoring startup. The last 2 startups that I mentored is from Malaysia. So hopefully with this, I can also mentor and share my knowledge on how to build like strategy, go-to-market plan for startups in Japan and in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. So, okay, I think let's start a question from me before more questions from the audience. By the way, please, as I think Pandu mentioned, there is a Q&A button for you guys to able to shoot some questions. So, Mas Siska will help me to collect the question. So, Pak Neil, I think you mentioned about the growth of this digital economy. I think this pandemic is really sad, but actually for the digital economy, anything that I call it remote-based activity, because we need to do a lot of social distancing. So any remote-based transaction, remote-based learning, remote-based meeting, remote-based medicine is actually growing so much. So what kind of activities that from the Kementerian Pariwisata, Pak, that you guys do and the government also do to support this?
Okay, thank you, Pak Mas Italo. Before the Kementerian, there is a BIJTe. I used to work for BIJTe as well. So a lot of our program from the BIJTe era, we continue the program to the Kementerian now, at the Kementerian level as well. So for example, like to support the digital ecosystem, digital economy ecosystem, we actually has several programs. For example, like we have what we call BIJTe Developer Day, for example, where we put a lot of together a lot of tech companies, giant tech companies, to sit down and share their technology to our would-be developer or newbie developer or new startups. For example, with the Google Developer Expert, and then even Samsung, IBM, Microsoft, and so on. And through that, we go throughout Indonesia, for example, and try to map out our digital talent. And so far, we found that it was we actually has the potential to become a powerhouse, digital economy powerhouse, if we can if we can gather, synergize, and cooperate between all these elements of the ecosystem. And part of them is, of course, the government, and part of them is, of course, the business side and the technology owner side, and as well, and most importantly, of course, from the financing side, so the investment side, if you want to grow the startup in Indonesia. And and the other thing is we also provide, a medium for these startups, for example, to showcase their products. And I think Next Labs is one of our we call it a product, because we found them in Sydney. Actually, the co-founder was in Sydney and is doing PhD, but he has a patent on this product. So this is very interesting, and again, this is proving that actually Indonesia has the potential to become a technology powerhouse if we can create a sound ecosystem. So hopefully with this meeting, they can talk with Daiichi-san, with Realtek, and get the funding, because this is one of the high tech, and the thing that makes me really proud is when I ask them, they can tell you that one of their client is the California Caltech, right? University of Caltech, where NPL, actually National Propulsion Lab. So they use the product to to help them to help their mission to find new planets. So it's really incredible. And the other thing is, like Jerome, I'm one of your fans. I think I subscribe your channel, Jerome. It's a new breed of startup as well. So we can call them, Jerome, as a startup as well. So that's why I think this is a new kind of startup where a culture, actually, content become the product of the startups. I think that's something of that we do, Italon.
Thank you, Panil. So Jerome, I think Panil brought up the story of Nick's Lab. Yes, Andri actually is a student at Sydney University. So he got the PhD in Sydney University. So he did research on photonic, and somehow the thesis he become a startup. Now actually currently Panil, they are actually serving US Army, serving NVIDIA. Actually, they are in Techstar Space Accelerator. Techstar is one of the biggest accelerator in US. So it's being coached by NASA, by all these great companies. So you, as a student, Jerome, maybe you can share, other than knowledge, what do you learn from Japan? And I think, yes, I agree with Panil. You are also a startup. I think the media industry actually has been changing so much. Now, if you want to become a media company, you don't need a channel. You can use the existing channel distributors that you have. Maybe you can share a little bit about your story. Is it something that you start from Jakarta, or is it happen in Tokyo? Because I would like to know, what is the story of Jerome? Yeah.
Of me making YouTube.
I think when do you start it and how become big?
Actually, I started in Japan in
Okay.
like 2017. So first, what makes me make this a YouTube channel? Like my YouTube channel name is Nihongo Mantap. Mantap in Indonesia, it's called it's from the word mantap. It means good, excellent, and Nihongo is Japanese. So first I made this channel to teach Japanese to Indonesian people for free, something like that. Yeah. And then after I entered Waseda University, I started to make vlogs about my university life and about traveling Japan and stuff. Yeah.
Is it something that you design? You want to become a blogger, or is this like you just started with no any particular goal and suddenly boom?
Huh? I think it's to make a vlog. It's not to become famous, but it's like at the first it's only for me to make to record my memory, like to make it, yeah. Because if I don't make videos about what is happening in my life, I will forget it, or I will
I see.
I couldn't remember it like specifically. But if I make a video, I can see it later, like after 10 years, after even I'm not in Japan anymore, I still can see the things I've done in Japan. I think, yeah,
I see.
That's the point.
But very interesting that you're learning mathematics. I think there is one diaspora, which is Mas Pitoyo. Mas Pitoyo actually is a guy, is the project leader of Gundam project
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Yokohama. Yeah.
yeah.
So actually, Mas Pitoyo has been teaching mathematics. Professor Pitoyo has been teaching mathematics to some of the high school in Indonesia from Japan. So I think because at the end, I think it's very important knowledge for especially mathematics for the Indonesian people. Basic mathematics is very important. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you, Jerome. So Daiki-san, can you share why Southeast Asia, why Indonesia, from your perspective? Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much. As a deep tech VC, deep tech focused VC, the main target for us was Japan over the past 5 years. Now, Southeast Asia was a market that we looked into since 2010, and we were able to see this huge emerge in terms of the potential of watched technology or research themes that was very, very unique to us. There's a lot of issues and agriculture assets that you can't see in Japan. But there's a lot of ways of leveraging that using technology, even from Japan, but also developed in university groups of Indonesia itself. Therefore, deep tech as a whole still lies as a blue ocean in terms of an investor perspective. And because of that blue ocean aspect, we decided we want to go into the whole Southeast Asia network as also focusing on Indonesia as a first. But I guess it's a lot of the work that people like Jeremy has done to spread out the culture difference, the language difference between Japanese people and Indonesian people. Also, all the fintech giants that created that infrastructure for deep tech technology to build upon, so that investors like ourselves can communicate much more easily towards researchers and scientists that are working very, very hard in each region. So generally, that's the reason why we want to go into more of Indonesia.
Interesting. Yeah, I think deep tech is quite important, especially as Pak Sandi mentioned also. I think Bangga Buatan Lokal is one of the campaign, and I think the Indonesian government also now have this campaign of TKDN. TKDN actually is a policy to empower product to have certain percentage of the component coming from Indonesia. Yeah. Because I think many of manufacturing companies still manufacturing outside Indonesia, but actually with this TKDN concept, the Indonesian government want to build a lot of producing in Indonesia. For example, automotive. I see there's one startup called Imagine. It's actually a manufacturing marketplace that integrate between the auto car manufacturers with all these manufacturer services in Indonesia. I think this is actually is quite interesting when all the Indonesian government also want to push more Indonesian products. So I think deep tech is quite important, yeah, in this case. Yeah,
I totally agree with you. Sorry, just to add one point. There were a lot of voices from Japanese corporates that wanted to look into Southeast Asia. Also, governmental institutes in Southeast Asia that wanted to have VCs like ourselves to support, grow the deep tech ecosystem. The Malaysian government, the Singapore government has been, we've been able to form a partnership with them. Unfortunately, not with the Indonesian government yet, hopefully soon. But a lot of that kind of aspect has pushed us to go into Southeast Asia as well. So I guess that leverages upon a lot of the activities that we do today.
Okay, nice. So Anna, you're from Google, and Google has been super active in building ecosystem in Indonesia. And also you are from payment perspective, as Pak Sugeng also mentioned, there's major revolutionize how people using the payment, everything. So what do you think about the potential of Indonesia? Because payment is actually very important. If you don't have payment, then all this e-commerce doesn't really working. I remember William started e-commerce back in 2010. There is no such a proper payment, but now in the ecosystem there's a lot of e-money players, and there's a lot of channels of payments. Yeah, so maybe you can comment from Google point of view on this. Yeah.
Yeah, digital payment has been a lot of our focus, especially for me in Google Pay for payments. The size of Indonesia digital payment is quite big. I'm looking into the data from Statista last night. I pull in the data so I can share it with you today. It's just the size of digital payment right now in Indonesia is almost reached to 54 million US dollar. That's a huge number for a very early stage of digital payments in Indonesia. Even compared to Japan, in a way, Indonesia is much more advanced in digital payments. We have a lot of more wallet like GoPay, Shopee Pay, Dana, OVO, and many more. It's good for the market because the market is an unbanked population. I think only around 30% of Indonesia have bank accounts. With digital payments, it makes people easy to have access to financial. It brings a much more financial inclusion to people in Indonesia. People that live across Indonesia that probably doesn't have access to bank, now they have access to all of these digital wallets. Another thing that Pak Sugeng, right, the one from Bank Indonesia mentioned, a lot of compliance issue because the challenge probably around privacy, security of the digital transaction. We're also really closely looking into that, making sure that all of these payments are safe for the users. Reducing a lot of potential fraud that might happen. So I think the potential is huge in Indonesia. It's we're barely scratching the surface right now. It's still a big potential. Like I'm happy to hear like Gojek, for example, right now merged with Tokopedia that kind of like enrich the ecosystem. How Shopee do it. Shopee is not made in Indonesia, right? Shopee is made in our neighboring country. But like with this Gojek and Tokopedia, it's something that we can proud of. This is something from Indonesia that can actually become big in the market. So I think from my point of view, it's actually, it has a lot of potential, a lot of players in the market that's still trying to figure out on how to onboard all of these people to have this financial inclusion in the market.
So Anna, I think you've been in Google and handling this Play Store for quite a while. And you see the growth of digital payment, like all these e-wallets has been growing quite significantly for a couple of the last couple of years. Yeah. So meaning, because I noticed there's a lot of game company in Asia, but they're actually very hard to, or any app company is very hard to monetize because the penetration of mobile payment are so low. So what is now? Is it like the whole transaction is increasing quite significantly after all this payment?
Yes, actually, we saw a lot of increase in transaction. Unfortunately, it's an internal data that I could not share, but we are seeing a huge growth of people consuming more digital content. I would love to see one day we have a big game developers like SEA Group from Thailand. SEA Group has Free Fire, probably all the participants here know Free Fire, that's from SEA Group. They also own Shopee. So what I'm hoping one day Indonesia will have these big game developers because as Pak Sugeng also mentioned, it's also a big potential for the market to grow. The startup ecosystem, there's no big game developers yet in Indonesia that actually breaking the surface. So I'm looking forward to have like game developers from Indonesia on that. We start to see not only gaming content that people consume more now, we see a lot of like educational content like Duolingo or Pew for people to watch K-drama. A lot of like, they consume more digital content now, which is good because it gives them access to knowledge that is beyond what is analog work can provide.
Yeah, I think this is very important. I mean, digital payment is very important. Actually, there are some game developers like this, Agate, Touch10. Actually, Touch10 got investment by, if I'm not mistaken, was Gree from Japan as well. But they started quite early when the digital payment is not so mature like now. I think for the audience that you guys thinking to build something, I think this is the best time to start because I think not only game, probably content, probably, I don't know, Jerome, if you want to continue building content, one day you can also make it like a paid content, a premium content, instead of only rely on ad funded kind of model. Yeah. So those actually is a very interesting prospect. Yeah. So I think I'm starting to get a question from the audience. I think one question actually, what's the different revolutionary digital economy in Japan and Indonesia? Because I think we have many different, because Indonesia have traditional mind, so they are kind of accepting about the digital generation. Probably, Anna, you've been in Indonesia and you've been to Japan. So the difference between Indonesia and Japan, maybe you can share.
In terms of what, I didn't get the question, sorry.
I think this is about the mindset, because
the
Indonesian mindset are traditional, so they don't use the digital so often.
I would say the otherwise. To be honest, Indonesia is in some part much more advanced than Japan. Of course, Japan has some also something that is much more advanced than Indonesia. For example, their transportation is way beyond Indonesia. There's public transportation, but like in some about like digital technology, I think we're in par. Even on e-wallet, I have to say that Indonesia is much more advanced. In Japan, BIJTe just recently launched, right? Recently launched, and it's still being tried to penetrate the market. And in Indonesia, we have a robust option, and you can just pay and tap in the supermarket anywhere accessible. And another thing, when I talk with my global team, they are impressed that we can top up our wallet just by Gojek, Abang Gojek. By the motorbike taxi driver, which that is not possible to do in other region, right? So there's a way that Indonesia is much more creative in a way. They are trying to break these boundaries, and then they are trying to find a way to monetize. And I understand that a lot of this digital payment actually enabling people during this pandemic to get more income, like how they build their own business, sell it in Tokopedia, sell it via GoFood. A lot of this are lighting up the ecosystem. I cannot say that Indonesia has this traditional mindset. I think right now Indonesia are trying to be this, not traditional, being much more modern, being much more up to date. We started to see a lot of startups, unicorn startups in Indonesia. Probably Indonesia has the highest unicorn startups compared to other regions in Southeast Asia. So I wouldn't say that we have this traditional mindset. I think I have to say that I'm proud to be an Indonesian. You can take me out of Indonesia, but you cannot take the Indonesia out of me. I'm very proud to be an Indonesian, and I think we have a lot of potential to be this big digital nation.
Yeah, probably if Jerome, can you add your experience living in Indonesia and living in Japan?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm really agree with Kak Ana, because especially in digital marketing and also social media, I think Japan is slower than Indonesia. Like, Japan's mindset toward social media is very, it's not very, I mean, like, it's slower than Indonesia. I think it's like Indonesia in 5 years ago. It's the same with Japan right now, I think, for the social media use. Because like Indonesia's like social media marketing, influencers marketing is very rich, but in Japan, even there are a lot of restaurants that like you are not allowed to make videos. But in Indonesia, like, please make videos, right? Like the difference of the mindset. And also, like, in Japan, people still use television, mostly television and newspaper for marketing. But in Indonesia, most of them already moved to social media and like Facebook ads, Instagram ads more than television. So I think Indonesia is far. It's not far. It's better than Japan in that side of marketing, of digital. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's interesting, because I think what startup like, for example, Gojek did, actually, they built technology fit to the market, which is the Indonesian. For example, when they started Gojek, the Gojek driver has this Android China low and very limited memory, limited battery. With the 6 now, sometimes 2G, sometimes 3G, sometimes 4G. So, and then the Gojek engineer need to build an app that very efficient for this device to able to, not crash and also not taking so much memory and the battery. But they succeed because now millions of Gojek driver which is using it. So I think we need to thank all these great startup like Tokopedia, Gojek to educate the market, because before that, now all these Gojek users understand, because previously app is only for game, only for social media, but now they can make money out of this device, So I think that's actually a great learning for the country as well. So goes to the next question. I want to know. This is for Pak Neil. I want to know what backup from the government Indonesia for pandemic and our economy Indonesia. So probably what kind of support that you guys did for the last 2 years for this in terms of pandemic and related the context of digital economy.
Okay, I have to step back a little bit. Okay, I have to respond to Mbak Anya and Mas Jerome.
Okay.
We are a great nation, of course, right? We have 270 million population, and our internet populations reach close to a little bit more than 200 million. So we have to think about Indonesian digital netizens or digital citizens as a market, of course. And we as Indonesian has to think about this as a market as well. It's a really huge market. And because we are also archipelagic nation, which is so many islands and so on, we have so many challenges. Many challenges, and for us, for the government itself to overcome these challenges, of course, it's not that easy. That's why we push the startups to find the solutions for those challenges and create the solution and turn it into opportunity, a business opportunity, of course. So, for example, like Gojek, they found a problem, they found a challenge in the transportation, and they turn it into a huge opportunity to become one of the decacorn now of the digital decacorn. So that's I think one of the thing that we need to do. And again, we still have a lot of challenges, not just in that transportation, education, health, even, and so on. So this is a really good opportunity for Indonesian startup to be able to get into. And as for what we have done, of course, during the pandemic, we have this program called Nyatakan Ide, where we actually fund people with ideas to turn it into digital apps or games. That's one of the thing. Up to 50 million. Last year we have it, but this year I don't think. We have to refocus our budget so that we can not do it for now. But I think we can continue next year. And the other thing is we also have backup. It is Baparekraf for startup, where we also incubate and scale up a digital startup of Indonesia. I think
Okay. Thank you, Panil. So maybe one last question. You have. Okay, probably one last question for Jerome. Yeah. So how important is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics? Yeah, can you elaborate more?
Well, yeah, I mean, education. Yeah, it's like education is the key of improvement of a country. Like with the high quality of education, we can create high quality of human, and with the high quality of human, we can make a lot of improvement. And yeah, we can make a lot of startups and yeah, companies and new inventions that could make a country become a better country, right? So I think it's very important for us to first improve the quality of education, yeah, in order to make many inventions and many improvements for our countries. So yeah, mathematics, technologies are very important, of course, but yeah, before learning that, we have to improve the base of the education first, and then we have to improve the research, because like when I see a strong country or like improved country like America or Japan, like they do a lot of research. They have a lot of research, even in Singapore also. Like, so education and research is very important in order to make many improvements for our country. Yeah, I think that's what I can say.
Okay, thank you, Jerome. So you'll be at the Ministry of Education which year?
What?
You're going to be a Minister of Education, you know?
Yeah, it's one of my like
Dream.
my dream. Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm still working on it.
Aspiration.
You need to build a startup as big as Gojek and become a minister. So the path is building the startup.
Mas Italo, he already has a startup. It's called Mantapu Corporation. He's there, right? He's the CEO of the Mantapu Corporation.
You need to build your startup, become unicorns, and you can become a minister. That's the way to go. Cool. So I think
Can I add, Mas Italo, the last?
Yeah. Boleh, Mas.
Just one. I forgot to respond to Mr. Daiki-san. I mean, like, if you already talk with the Malaysian government, Singaporean, we are willing to talk with you, and we can also connect with other government institution in the form of for tech startups and anything, any kind of startups. So I'm willing to connect with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Panil.
Thank you, Panil. I think Daiki is very important. You talk with Panil.
I will most definitely do. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for this session. I just want to summarize. I think the whole ecosystem, which is first the government, has been very active now. As you can see, there is a lot of program by the government. And I think we are welcome also all Japanese VC also to work with the government as well. And I also noticed that the ecosystem of digital payment has been growing so much in Indonesia. And I totally agree with Jerome that education is very important. I think that's is a fundamental of a country to build great people where we can create build a great startup. So I think thank you so much for the Excellency Pak Ambassador Pak Eri Ahmadi for this event, Pak. So hopefully we can have more event with Embassy of Tokyo to create more discussion to bridge the economy between Indonesia and Japan. Thank you, everybody.
Thumbs up.
For moderating the discussion. It was indeed a very constructive discussion for all of us. And I believe that the discussion we just had has given us a new perspective on the Indonesian and Japanese digital markets, as well as the potential collaboration between young technopreneurs. So perhaps Jerome can lead to be the young entrepreneurs of Indonesia and connect with Daiki-san and with the support of Ana-san and other speakers. So as we have come to the end of the session, I would like to express our deepest gratitude and highest appreciations to all the speakers and participants of today's talk shows. The Bootcamp for Indonesian and Japanese Technopreneurs event will progress. We'll start today with a closed session on market insight Indonesia and Japan. So we will have 12 participants at the embassy who will discuss and interact with each other to perhaps propose some collaboration idea between Technopreneurs Indonesia and Japan. And rest assured, the Embassy of Indonesia in Tokyo is even committed to further facilitate further discussion and collaboration in the digital economic sector between Indonesia and Japan. And with that, I thank you to all, to everyone in this today's talk show, and thank you so much, and see you again in the next event from the Embassy of Indonesia in Tokyo. Thank you.